All right, so we're gonna get in. I'm gonna try to get some interviews, and let's see what happens. Y'all want to say something? You guys are protesting. What do you guys? What's going on?
We're protesting because Donald Trump is president.
And what is it about Trump exactly that you don't like?
Promotes hate, and hate. Once we get hate within our own cities, then that's when we create more war, more bigotry, and just a lot more like violence throughout the country.
Understood.
Our youth is what's going to promote violence in our country. We have to learn to love one another so that we can grow with one another.
Now, is it safe to assume that you were happy with the last 8 years of Obama? Is that safe to assume?
I've been happy with any president. No president has come and thrown out so much hate like him.
Right, but
even when Bush was president, he never threw out that much hate. Even though he had his flaws, he knew what not to say and what to say.
Now, just objectively, what is it exactly? What's the most thing that Trump has said that stands out to you as far as being hatred?
Okay, this is something that comes from me. I am a rapist victim. So something to me is the fact that he did not get charged with accusers. The fact that he can stand up there and we are looking up to him as someone who degrades women. For a fact that people voted for him simply because Hillary was a woman makes me so upset, because how do we expect equality even within our own kind if we can't do that?
Right, I see. Now, what is your thought, like, as far as the rest of the country and like why they elected him in? Do you feel like they're wrong and you're right?
I honestly, there's some things I like about Donald Trump. I actually like someone who's in the army. So for Donald Trump to win, it was big for him. And I understand that. I understand where each points are coming from. But when you throw out hate and you are sitting there telling American citizens that it's okay to say these things, then you're not supposed to be he is supposed to be someone we're looking up to. He's supposed to be someone that we're supposed to respect. And we can't give him that kind of respect, and we can't give it back.
I see. Now, let's say when Trump takes office and his message starts to, well, not his message, but what he does helps all Americans, and they start moving forward. Do you feel like in 4 years, your opinion of him might change? Can it change?
It can. If he proves me wrong, then it can change. I'm not no one to talk someone down because I don't know him. But I will say I am not going to stand here and promote what he has been promoting. And also, I come from Mexico. My parents lived in the American dream. They started businesses. We employ over 100 citizens. I believe in the American dream. I believe in what America stands for. And that is why I love this country.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I'm sure you lost your crowd, but thank you. What's up, bro? You want to say something?
Yeah, man, I don't know how this happened. Texas, I don't know what's wrong with you. Florida, I don't know what's the problem. Georgia, but we needed either of those states, either Texas or Florida and Georgia, to come together. Instead, we choose, instead of a woman being president, we choose to let a man with no political history, none whatsoever, run this country. And
is there anything you could say that you like about Trump? Anything at all?
He built a beautiful tower right there. If you turn around, you can look at it. But other than that, no. I mean, you know, as far as his remarks, as far as the character he's you know, and see now, when he become president, he gonna have to hire, because he don't know politics, he gonna have to hire all these different people to come in office and do things according to the government things. And the thing is, the House is full of Republicans.
And the Senate also
is full of Republicans. So it's not gonna be as hard for him to get a bill passed or legislation passed, because he's a Republican also. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of Republicans don't agree with him, as far as I think it was probably like 20-some%, but the rest, you know, Man, and this is what we got. I mean, you know, you got a crowd full of protesters that we doing it peacefully as possible in the city of Chicago. It's just terrible.
There's a lot of people here, but this is by no means all of Chicago, and he actually did better in Illinois than a lot of people thought, and of course he is the president-elect, so there's no changing that regardless as to like all of this, but we're just trying to get a perspective, because I know there's a lot of people fearful. You know, there's the whole viral Van Jones thing that's going around. You want to say something, bro?
We're gonna get through this. We just gotta unite.
What is it exactly about Trump that you don't like?
I think if he was just talking about business, I wouldn't mind him because he has experience. But when he starts talking about other stuff, everyone here is offended, and you see that it's all walks of life. It's white people, black people, lesbian, gay people, immigrants, Muslims. You know, you can see that.
What's the most offensive comment that he said that stands out to you?
That Mexicans are they're like bad people. What's up, Chris? What's up?
Yo, what's up, bro? So what's going on here?
Well, they protested Trump, who's KKK, and also we feeding kids that's homeless that sleep right up under Donald Trump. That's homeless. 300 kids that's homeless, and we need your support.
Do you mind answering a few questions?
You want to give us support for the kids?
Well, I don't have any cash on me, bro. I don't even carry cash anymore.
What about him? Help the kids, man.
He doesn't either.
I'm speaking for the kids.
That's fine. So he had a few words, but then we weren't able to buy his paper, and he didn't have anything to say. Let's keep it moving. Hey, you mind talking about that sign a little bit?
Sure. I just wanted to give hugs out to people. So my friends and I are going around trying to spread spread positivity.
Yeah.
Put an end to the divisiveness. So is it safe to say that regardless as of what side of the aisle you are, what side of politics you are, we should be able to come together and have discussions, right?
Yeah.
Or just hug.
Right, or just hug. So let's hug. Let's hug.
hug.
All right.
I love you, buddy.
Yeah.
Spread love. I love you.
That love is.
Do you want to hug, camera guy?
Yeah, give the camera guy a hug.
I love you guys.
All right, take care.
Do you want to hug? I love you. A lot of love going on. Spread love.
A lot of love going on. You want to say a few words about your shirt? It says, "I am a person, not a pussy."
That's it. I don't think our president sees me as a human being.
And what exactly about him makes you feel like that?
The way that he has treated women, the things that he said about women for his entire campaign.
What statement that he made stands out the most to you? Like out of all, you know, I know there's been a lot out there that people say that they don't like, but what's the biggest one that stands out to you?
Grab him by the pussy. I think would have to be the one that stands out the most.
And why that one in particular?
Because it's so degrading. It makes me not a human. It makes me something to be messed around with, to be played with, to be used, and that's not what I am.
Understood. Now, aside from that, so let's put that issue aside. How else do you feel about him? I mean, like economically, on the issues, socially, like how else do you feel?
Well, hold on. Let me turn this around.
Oh, wow, this one.
This one's longer. You know, democracy rests on the peaceful transition of power. But
very respectable.
It's really disheartening to feel like the person that we elected doesn't see me as equal, doesn't see me as worthy.
So I feel like you have your set of issues, but overall you feel pretty like you're willing to unite, and because your comments and your statements are different from a lot of others that I've interviewed tonight. So I feel like that's very respectable and open-minded of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I understand the anger, and I think it's good to make space for that and let people have their reactions. I think moving forward, what we have to do is figure out a way to make this work.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yes, I do believe in male privilege.
In what sense? Like what things? What places in society do males have an advantage?
The fact that our democratic nominee nominee worked her whole life as a politician and is discredited by a man who has been accused of rape, who is clearly a misogynist.
Can I just stop you there? Now, accusations. Now, in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Right, and the girl who was holding the case dropped the charges because of death threats. Death threats. You shouldn't be scared to fight for your body. It's my body.
All right, there you have it, folks. It's her body. So, what does it mean to you?
So I'm just going to read it because it's an equation.
Okay.
I'll wait for the sound to go away. So white silence plus white supremacy equals white violence and the death of people of color, queer people, trans people, women, and the disabled.
Okay, so I understand the white silence part. White supremacy, what is that? What's the embodiment of that to you?
So supremacy functions on multiple levels, right? So supremacy is not only micro and macro aggressions that happen on the interpersonal level, but it's also the systemic creation of policies to subjugate minorities or other populations that aren't white.
Now, can you point to me to one of those bills, laws, or anything of the sort that only applies to white people or only applies to people of color? So in what sense, how does it oppress one group and not the other group if it applies to all Americans?
So I'll give you an example, was the trend of redlining, which was a which was a policy created by the banks and backed by the government that allowed basically people of color, mostly like black, homeowners, they would be denied within certain neighborhoods. They would actually get redlined and only would be able to live within certain neighborhoods, and that was to create ghettos, and that was to actually basically keep people in one area instead of allowing integration.
Do you feel like that was based on race or income, perhaps? Because,
No, it's race. It was race. You can look it up.
Now, do you have anything to substantiate the fact that it was race? Because obviously banks are in the business to make money, so I would assume anybody they give a loan to would be the best qualified as opposed to race. I mean, money is green, not white, black, or Latino or Asian.
I mean, you can look this up on Google. Like, it's a really great resource.
I'm aware of it.
And I mean, there really isn't much to debate about that because it's really well documented. You can also look up things called the Southern Strategy, which was a political technique used, I believe, by the Nixon era, that basically was the plan to help coerce white people into not being as united with people of color in their neighborhoods, which is kind of like the evolution of what we see today.
Based on crime, the Southern Strategy, I'm aware of it. Mm-hmm. Now, with the Southern Strategy and what sort of evolved from that, where now they're saying that the prison population is overpopulated by people of color, mm-hmm. and police are focusing their attention in lower income areas. At the end of the day, culturally, don't you feel like all of us have a choice whether or not we break the law?
So, to be imprisoned for low-level offenses and to be targeted disproportionately is not a fair use of the law.
Let me stop you right there. So you said the word targeted, but if attention is put more into areas where more crime occurs, is that really targeting, or is that...
So do you know the fact that black on black crime and white on white crime are around the same percentage? Did you know that all interracial crime actually lies around the same percentage, give or take 1 or 2 points?
No, that's actually not true at all. Black on black crime supersedes white on white crime tremendously. You could just look at Chicago.
Not true.
So out of the near 700 homicides in Chicago,
if you look at the FBI national account, it averages out. So I don't really feel...
Right, it averages out based off of population, because African Americans make up about 13% of the population. So that means 13% of the population is equal to that greater majority if it balances out, that means per capita, it's happening far greater numbers in the black and colored communities.
So I do not understand the point of this conversation.